Hey YouTube, Jake here. Thought I'd do a video on treating ick in your fish tank. Yeah, no. I've had some horrible run-ins with this stuff. Like, no joke. Last summer, I introduced a fish from a store that probably wasn't keeping good care of their fish, and I got ick in my fish tank. Now, the first thing I did was, followed everything that they tell you to do, like in the aquarist sites, the company advised methods of treatment. You buy that you buy the stuff, you put it in your tank, it makes everything blue or green or makes your water funky colored. And I used that stuff for I don't know, a good 2 months with no results using it, following it exactly to the directions, so it didn't work really well. And then started eyeballing around on the internet and heard something about aquarium salt, putting it into your freshwater aquarium, and I was a little leery at first. I'm thinking, oh, freshwater fish, it's gonna kill them. Then when I started actually doing research into it, it's actually pretty beneficial to them. Helps their osmotic balance because, normally with no salts or anything in the water, they're constantly having to urinate to clear out all the excess water in their system. But when you add salt to the water, it changes the osmotic balance and they're not having to urinate as often, which puts less stress on the fish. But what I was more interested in was the ick cannot survive in water with a certain salinity. I think it's like a 5% concentration, and ick can't really survive in it, or white spot, whatever you want to call it. But here's what I did. I went to Walmart, got about a 4-liter Tupperware container, about 4 liters, and or I should say about a 1 gallon. That's a good way of putting it, so I could easily figure out how much salt to put in. And took all my fish out of the aquarium, right? All the fish out, and then put them in this Tupperware container. Sponge filter in there and everything to keep them going. Added the correct dosage of salt, which for a gallon it was like I want to say 3 teaspoons. I have it written down somewhere, but let me check. Yeah, 3 teaspoons. These little guys. But, yeah, that's how much I added. Let them sit in there for a couple of weeks. And, all of them stopped having that white spots all over the place, so I left them in there a bit longer. But also, as I was keeping them in there, I was treating the tank with, the recommended, medicine that they sell in the store. Because, I figured, oh yeah, I got my aquatic plants in there and stuff, and I don't want the salt to kill them off and stuff. So I started dosing them with the medicine that you buy in the store. And from what I understand, the medicine that you buy in stores clears it out of the water column, but it doesn't clear it out of your substrate or out of the fish. But I'm not sure if this is completely true, but salt, I guess the story is that it treats ick in all its forms, in all forms of its life cycle. Like, it's in the substrate, it goes into the water column, gets into your fish, does its thing, drops off, goes back into the substrate and keeps going. That life cycle. And yeah, basically I had them sit in there for, about a month. You know, I kept that up for about a month, reintroduced my fish, and they had no more problems with ick. Now, I found that is the best way that I have found to treat ick in your tank. If you have full-blown ick all over, that's one way. Another way is just take your Tupperware container, keep the water clean, and put all your plants in it. You know, keep a sponge filter going, stuff like that. Even use old water from a water change. And without fish in there, without a living organism for this parasite to attach itself to, it basically won't have any more food or anything to live off of, so it'll die. And what I'll do is I'll treat the whole tank with salt. And then, you know, let it sit in there for a couple of weeks, do some water changes, and pretty soon the salinity is going to be back where plants can handle it. But you got to leave the plants out for longer. I think it's like 2 months. You know, to fully get ick away from them. And what I did also to make a little reassurance is turned on the sink. I know people are going to say, oh yeah, this is bad, and just totally rinsed them down. All my plants, everything, just totally rinsed the crap out of them before I reintroduced them as well. And yeah, now I have no more problems with ick. And every time, to prevent it, every time I get a new fish, they just go in the Tupperware container for a couple of weeks. You know, I add salt to the Tupperware container, and that pretty much cures it. Like, you know, you don't have to have a big actual tank for quarantine. You know, you can just have like a little Tupperware container or a little bucket even. Just as long as you make sure that the ammonia levels don't get too high while they're in there, while they're in quarantine, you're pretty much fine. So yeah, hope this video helped, and please comment and subscribe. Groovy.